Good morning.
Jim Ferguson or Jim
Yeah,
Kenyon?
no, Jim Ferguson. I think you
Okay.
are a sponsor too. I am kind
Yeah.
of too, but
Yeah, I'd like to welcome Kitty. Kitty is a Canadian, a resident from Ontario, from Sarnia, Ontario. She's a member of the District 6330 Passport Club as well, where she's the new PR chair for their club. And she will be the administration chair for the E-Club starting July the 1st. I've had the pleasure of working with Kitty and getting to know her better on the weekly meeting. And we actually met in person in Ontario, in Toronto, for the Rotary International Convention. So she's a wonderful lady, and I'm really, really happy that she's part of our club. So welcome, Kitty.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Kitty Bucsko, pronounced like Butch Cassidy, Bucsko. I live in Sarnia, Ontario, but I'm currently in Anguilla, British West Indies until April. And I'm the mother of 3 adult children. My late husband died in 1996, and in 2001 I met Ralph, a retired technical teacher from Parry Sound, and we've been together since that time. I was born in Sarnia. I studied, and I date myself here, secretarial science at the University of Western Ontario. I then attended Althouse College of Education and began teaching for the Lambton County Board of Education in the business department. For 31 years, I taught in the secondary schools in Lambton County. I taught business subjects in 2 centuries and 2 millennia. I also began teaching on a manual typewriter, and I was eager to stay up to date with all the technological changes that took place. And I like to consider myself a bit of a techie and a reasonable troubleshooter. At the start of my career, I taught typing and shorthand, and then shorthand became shorterhand, which was an anomalous name because it was actually longer. Shorthand is a language, and one must actually put an effort into learning a new language. However, with the new technologies, it was easy to understand why shorthand died out as it did. And then at the end of the 1980s, I coordinated a federal job reentry program for adults, which ran successfully for about 3 years on a federal grant. I enjoyed that challenge, and many women were able to get back successfully into the workforce because of the program. In 1985, I had the opportunity to spend 1 year in Budapest, Hungary, where my husband located for a sabbatical year. And that was an interesting time for sure. I was totally immersed in a new language, and I surprised myself that without lessons, I was able to speak quite fluently and even do a little bit of translation within the first 3 months. However, I really had mastered only the present tense. It was some few months later when I doubled my vocabulary and ability to speak with the future tense. My children, on the other hand, had become very fluent in the Hungarian language very quickly. The system in Budapest at the time was vastly different from what I was used to living in Canada, so it was so easy to take our Canadian amenities and privileges for granted until you spend time in another country and a way of life, as you must know. Back in Ontario, I taught secondary school until 2002 January. As I saw that my retirement was looming, I was trying to be a bit creative to find another type of job that I could move to and continue working beyond teaching secondary school. I researched opportunities to learn and teach online, and with a great deal of good fortune, that opportunity presented itself in 2001. After my retirement, I continued to work part-time teaching business English and technical writing online. And it keeps me up to date on the latest technologies, and I can do it from anywhere in the world. But I'm now thinking of a complete retirement in the near future. My to-do list is very long, and I never seem to have the time to accomplish everything that I want to accomplish. I could easily be happy with 48 hours in a day. Now about volunteer work. Everything I've done with Rotary, of course, has been volunteer, but prior to Rotary, I did some short-term volunteer work in Sarnia just after I retired. I volunteered on a help line called TellCheck, where we made daily calls to people who for some reason just needed to talk to someone, mostly seniors who were living on their own and needed to be checked on each day. It was a very good program and quite a number of caring volunteers involved. I also for a short time volunteered with Victim Services in Sarnia. Both those volunteer efforts ended when I moved to Parry Sound in late 2002. About my family, I have 2 grandchildren. My elder daughter lives and works in Toronto, where she owns a condo downtown. My younger daughter teaches French kindergarten in Sarnia, and both my grandchildren attend the same school. My son works online and can travel anywhere at any time and still maintain his work obligations. About Rotary. When I first met Ralph, he was the president of the Rotary Club of Parry Sound, and he is the one who invited me to Rotary. I became a Rotarian in the spring of 2003 and was immediately conscripted to do the weekly Rotary Club Bulletin, a hard copy effort of 4 to 6 pages with that lovely fold and a staple to produce a proper little booklet. I loved to take photos of the guests and members, and I believe that the few years that I spent on that activity provided a very good detailed history of the club during that time. Parry Sound is in District 7010. And about Anguilla. Ralph had been an exchange teacher to Anguilla in 1988-89. He introduced me to Anguilla in early 2002, and from that point we have spent more and more time on the island. We now spend about 5 months a year. And because of Ralph's desire to help our friends, I like to say that about half the population of Parry Sound has been to Anguilla for a very lovely and affordable vacation. It is truly a special island. In early 2007, we both joined the Rotary Club of Anguilla, and it was then that I became involved in District 7020. District 7020 comprises 10 countries in the Northern Caribbean. I was the District 7020 newsletter editor for about 8 years, and I produced a rather newsy document every month that featured all the 84 clubs and their activities. It was like a yearbook in a sense, and it was a document that I believe helped to bring together the 10 islands in District 7020 and recognize all the clubs through the district. I even began translating the newsletter into French as well when I learned that about a third of the District 7020 is French speaking. The first district governor for whom I prepared the newsletter was so pleased that he had every copy printed and placed in a 3-ring binder as a real remembrance of his year as governor. I also became involved with the Rotary Caribbean Partnership, which comprises southeastern U.S. states and the countries in the Caribbean. I started a website for them and produced a quarterly newsletter for a number of years. With the earthquake in Haiti in 2010, and Haiti was part of District 7020, I worked with Barry Rassin, very much on the periphery, mind you, to post all the information and updates for the reparation projects on a website that I created. From the time we began spending several months in Anguilla, I felt my attendance was not adequate between 2 countries and 2 Rotary clubs. I was eager to get involved with and to learn about an E-Club. And as a result, I was the charter president of the E-Club of the Caribbean 7020, which was chartered on August 12, 2013, 6 months after this Canada Club. Why did I become a Rotarian? Quite simply because I was asked. I quickly discovered that I enjoyed the friends I met, I liked what Rotary stands for, and I liked that Rotary was helping me to become a better person. Also, aligning myself with this great organization allows me to help others, both in my own community and in other lands, and I find that I am globally aware now where I don't believe I was so well informed in my earlier years. In 2015, we moved back to Sarnia from Parry Sound, and we now live very close to my grandchildren. Ralph immediately joined the Rotary Club of Sarnia. We both are now involved with the Sarnia Club, and I'm a regular visitor. We both have helped out in the many activities that this particular club undertakes. I've always been drawn to the Rotary E-Club of Canada, one, because of the excellence of your posted meetings. So here I am with a few skills to offer. And having a connection to Rotary through a local Terra Club or a couple of local Terra Clubs and through the E-Club community is quite an excellent experience. And that's about me in a nutshell, and I've got some photos to show you. Oh, come on.
Is this going to involve the spider?
No, just, can you see that? It's, just hang on. There it is.